Hi again, I'm Adam Ford from Torture Garden, and I am now in the Inquisitor seat. And even though we're wearing exactly the same clothes, it's a few days later, and it's Matt's turn to be interviewed. Matt is the instrumental guru of the band, even though other people do other stuff, and he's like the composer person. And I'm going to be asking him some pretty shit questions about the new album we got coming out called The Great Depression. So, Matt.
Hi.
You've released 2 other albums of Torture Garden so far. I believe they're called Rotisserie of Pain and Dead Romantic.
Correct.
How
It's only homework.
is... Yeah, well, I'm just the biggest fan.
Well, you'd be surprised the amount of journalists who don't do the homework.
Yeah,
It's
that's
infuriating.
It is. But how is the Great Depression musically different to those other masterpieces?
Well, they are. You're correct to say that they're masterpieces. However, this is it's going to be, when it's finally finished, a masterpiece of an old. It's going to basically redefine the word masterpiece.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's a big claim.
It is, but wait till you hear the music. You'll find it's very much justified.
Oh right, okay.
It's different. It's a lot bigger, bolder, a lot more experimental, but at the same time a lot more, whatever word that means.
Cohesive.
Cohesive, yes. that's why you're the lyricist.
Isn't it?
Yeah. It's a lot more cohesive. It's got a rather, like the lyrics, coincidentally, has a certain narrative to it, I would say. Without going into too much detail, it has a very, very heavy, fucked up side to it.
Ooh, having fucked up.
Well, that's what we like.
It is.
At least it's one.
If you don't, you may as well press stop.
Yeah,
you know.
pretty much. It's one side of things that we like. It's got that side to it, and I'd say very more so than we've done before. And then at the other end of the scale, it's got a very almost like quite peaceful and tranquil side to it. Very lovely, really. You know,
Lovely.
not the right word. It's quite slightly misleading, perhaps, but I think the listeners will know what I mean when they hear it. It's kind of it's like a sort of it's what it exists within me, that side.
Oh my god! Shut up.
No. But no,
it
let me finish. In the same way as your lyrical utopia exists within you.
Oh, okay.
This musical utopia exists within me, right?
Okay.
Right, thank you. In the future, let people finish their sentences.
No, I want to interrogate you and make you feel uncomfortable.
Well, you've so far failed, but you know, feel free to keep trying anyway. So yeah, and I'd say, I mean, we've kind of touched on that side in the past as well, with in a sense, with acoustic guitars and things. That could be
Everything is grey.
Yeah, that's got a certain warmth to it, as one reviewer pointed out.
I hate that word, but
yeah. So yeah, and it's a more gentler, perhaps is a better word.
But unlike anything you've done before, and the listener will just have to listen to fully understand.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that we do have that extreme as well on this album, and I think the album is probably further in both extremes than anything we've done before, and yet it remains cohesive,
right,
because it's all tied together with a theme
so
and a narrative.
How? I mean, obviously, I know the answer to this question.
No,
but how did the lyrical themes fit with the composition of the music?
Well, our lyricist Adam,
Is he?
Some twat. He so yeah, he's not bad as well. He basically wrote the lyrics. Well, that's always been the case. He's always written the lyrics before the songs where the music was written, or at least before the musical ideas were assigned to a lyric. sometimes an idea can be written previously, but they're not assigned to a specific lyric.
Mm.
So it was my responsibility to find material either that had already been written or that I was about to write in the future to fit in with the lyrical themes and the actual songs themselves. And I've certainly done that very successfully, I think. There is, in the lyrics, there's a lot of darkness in there, obviously. I'm not going to go into too much specifics at the moment.
I think somebody was sitting there and went into some...
No,
gave some clues anyway.
Well, like a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
No.
Well, days ago, in fact.
Days ago, maybe. Yeah, definitely. But anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of darkness on there, but there is what's the word I used? Utopia?
Yes, utopic.
There's a utopic side to it as well, and that's very much reflected in the music. I was able to reflect that with use of different instrumentation, different keys, different dynamics. These are all different forms of musical expression, and I've done that basically. And I think style as well, stylistically. The darker side is obviously represented by extreme heavy metal, which is obviously the best genre to reflect that in history, basically. The other side is reflected by other things like folk.
Yeah.
And folk, basically. It's very folky in parts, this album, but it's also very extreme metal.
Yeah.
But not at the same time.
Yeah. And not in a racist way.
Not in a racist way. It's non-racist folk.
Good. That's the best kind.
It's always the best kind of folk, definitely.
And so you'd say it's more experimental musically than the other two albums?
Yeah, in many senses, yeah. And in all senses, in a good way.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, in a good way. As our listeners will discover. They won't go, this isn't Torture Garden. This is shit. They should stick to doing what they were doing before, which was basically the same but not as much.
Yeah.
They won't say that at all. They'll say this is amazing, and basically, yeah. Well, if they don't, so fucking what? Like, but they will. So yeah, it is more experimental in that it's pushed more boundaries. It's gone further in the directions we've previously pursued, and it does also introduce some new elements, which will, I think, surprise a lot of people. And a lot of people hearing me say that will now be very frightened. Certain types of people, they'll go, oh no, not new elements.
They will.
We can't have that.
Complete tosses, to be honest. If you're one of them, also, let's stop.
Well, don't press stop. Listen to the album and then decide.
Then press stop.
Which you inevitably will be that type of person that you don't like it because it's too interesting.
But there'll be also probably people who listen to that, you saying that, and think, oh, bands always say that when they've got a new album out. Yeah. Oh, it's our most experimental work yet. It's it's a complete departure from other stuff.
Yeah.
How can you be convincing when you say that? What about this whole process has given you like the confidence to say that with any kind of real feeling?
Well, obviously, it's just my opinion.
Of course. But they're normally bullshit, and I think you'll tell them the truth.
My opinions are normally bullshit.
No.
Oh, I see.
Musicians, like these days, when they say, "Oh, it's a big departure for us," they're normally like it's spinning a line. To be honest, because they haven't got much else.
They've got a product to sell for a start off. I'm not trying to sell records. The Torture Garden is not trying to sell records. We're trying
or digital files,
or well, whatever. call it what you want. We haven't got that agenda. We're just making music and that that really says something. That makes a statement, an artistic statement.
Yeah.
A political, social statements, whatever. So that's our agenda.
Yeah.
We have no interest in selling lots of albums. It would be nice to do that. It would be nice if the public had the mindset where they could enjoy the album enough to do that and appreciate it enough to do that. I hope they do, but I'm not sure that will happen. But either way, the main point for us to do this is that we get it out there and we express ourselves in that way. What's inside us, what makes us tick musically, and what gets us through the day lyrically. In your case, so that's our main agenda, and I think that's why. Also, I never fucking lie. Let's put it that way.
I don't know about that.
I don't bullshit people.
Right.
I'm fucking in it for the music and the songs and the lyrical content is fantastic. And text. And
You always have a text, don't you, when you do
I know.
it?
Oh, sorry. Text. Oh,
Just
like in
pretending
the
it's
demo.
popular.
In the demo of
Yeah.
Mr. Time,
Yeah,
which is
go
track
on.
on the album, yeah.
Yeah.
There's I got a text off. Yeah,
Someone.
yeah. Anyway, so yeah. Next question. I think I've answered that one, have I? Have I?
Yeah.
Are you satisfied with my answer?
I'm reasonably satisfied because I believe it, and hopefully
So you should.
the people watching will be convinced that you're not just some charlatan like all the rest of the artists seem to be these days. Not all of them, of course, there are proper
No.
artists out there, but a lot of people seem to be old and tired and out of ideas, and I think,
Yeah.
well, I'm feeling old and tired, but I think we've got lots of ideas.
Well, it's been a long day.
just,
It hasn't actually. But
just generally.
yeah. Well, that's the current landscape we live in.
This is indeed. Right, so keep watching out for more videos and more Facebook updates, and most importantly, because it's the best thing ever, Twitter updates. And there will be music for you to hear very, very soon. Bye.